Welcome to Speaker School. Let's get started. All right, so often we think of, well, how did you go from Toastmasters to pro? Here's a little bit of my journey. As soon as I could, I started speaking outside of Toastmasters. Anytime anyone asks us to speak, the answer is yes, and then sort out the details. And now we have a huge workbook provided by Keystone Speakers. Thank you. And Brian Lee. So thank you. I started speaking to business groups, Rotaries, Lions, Seroptimists, all of our nonprofit and charity groups, our service organizations, networking meetings, chambers of commerce. The more that we speak outside of Toastmasters and for longer presentations, the better we get faster. And always make sure to get coaching. Even with the Small Business Administration and the SCORE, I spoke, and I would take an advanced Toastmaster with me and the project pieces. We would both get a free meal, and I could sell back of the room and get paid for the presentation, which goes toward earning the accredited speaker, which is what Keystone Speakers is all about. They've been very humble today, and they haven't told you how many homegrown accredited speakers they actually have. It's good. You want to check it out. All right. So sharing the stages with, I've had the privilege of opening, following, and closing for these major celebrities, including Canadian Jane Seymour, as well as other dignitaries. And I've trained the entire Deepak Chopra's lecture team. And I could not have done what I have done in my nearly 4 decades of being a professional speaker and presenter. And considering my icebreaker, it was horrible, 19 ahs and ums, and I was crying, tears flooding down my face for the entire dreadful 6.5 minutes. There's no way I could have done any of that and what I've accomplished had it not been for Toastmasters, polishing up the skills, and National Speakers Association learning about the business. And today is loaded for you as we share that spirit of professional speaking with you. My largest to date presentations have been a keynote closer for the national convention of 5,000 people in sales in Salt Lake City in a sports arena. 4 days later, my time was cut in half. Still delivered the full content, both received standing ovations, another 5,000 people. Again, what's your goal? What's your career commitment? I'm going to be tying in what Brian so wonderfully shared with us earlier right into this presentation, and you'll see how they link up. And now that we know how to go with our fees. So let's pull back the curtain a little bit. I'm going to add to what Brian shared. And these are the 10 must-haves in the speaking business. And I wish that I had known them when I had started in Toastmasters. But when I did, being a professional speaker was not my goal. Neither was going up the leadership ladder into serving as district director. But I did both, and I'm glad that I did. So here's what I share with you, my fellow Toastmasters, as we start that level 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the career commitment page inside of the workbook. And you saw this earlier, and thank you again, Brian, for sharing this with us. So this information in this particular segment relates to at least the 4 levels and criteria for development. I even do design work and coaching for many who are in the 5th and 6th levels. I've also worked with some famous speakers. So I mean, actually coaching them and including sci-fi stars in the green room, including Leonard Nimoy. All right, that's a whole nother speech. Okay, so then let's take a look at what are the 10 must-haves. Here's what I encourage you to do is to use this as a checklist and maybe an action item guide for you. And how are you doing in these 10 areas? We'll take a quick look at each of these, and then we'll also take a look at marketing and specifically designing speaker one-sheets, which is number 5 on this list. There are what I consider current and evergreen topics. Evergreen means that these are topics which will always be in demand. Here we're looking at the categories, not exact titles, if you follow me. There are going to be 3 different columns. I will bring them all up. You are welcome to capture a screenshot. There are a few slides that I'll recommend that you take a screenshot. Otherwise, this is my intellectual property, and thank you for respecting it. All right, go ahead and capture a shot of this one. I'll even smile. There you go. There you go. All right, so here's what I'd like you to do. As you start looking at this list, they are in alphabetical order. Things need to make logical sense to me. I don't know if you're the same way. find at least one that your topic can fit into that particular category. Ideally, if you can find three. And here's how this relates to what Brian was sharing with us and becoming a professional speaker. When we are out at a networking organization, the most common question we are asked is, oh, you're a speaker. What do you speak about? And they're not asking for our full story. They are qualifying us to see how they can continue more of the conversation, or are we a match? Everything about what I'm sharing with you is about being the match. Meeting planners are looking for us as problem solvers to whatever their issues are or the desired outcomes. All right, so raise your hand. Did you find at least one category? All right, find two categories. All right, three. Yeah, raise your hand if you found more. Okay, all right. Those become your subject matter expertise areas. Now, Brian had also said the fake it till you make it. I did practice that, especially as a speaker. I'm going to modify that to act as if. Act as if you are already a professional speaker. So in the gallery, when we were chatting during the lunch break, I heard many people say, oh, well, I'm not charging yet. I've been giving it away. I will start charging now. Great. Act as if you are already a paid presenter. Follow the scripts that have been provided from Fee Master, his trademark program. All right, so you found them. All right, now here's what I'd like you to do in the chat. What are your top three topic areas? All right, light up the chat for me. Let me see. Thanks, Mark, for posting, or Mun, thank you very much for helping out in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Safety. Thanks, Phyllis. Yes. Retired Mountie. Mounted police. Thank you. Canadian. All right. There you go. All right. Safety. IT. AI. IT. OMG, Bev. Okay. Health and wellness. Overcoming adversity. IT. Business. Tech. Innovation and creativity. There will always be a need for those topics. Overcoming adversity. Well-being. Parenting. Communication, resilience, social media presence. Oh, definitely a need. Thanks, Glenda. All right. Resilience, well-being, emotional intelligence. All right. Let's make sure that John Melnick is in here too for mental health. Thank you. All right. Leadership, resilience. Okay. Overcoming adversity. Communication, DEI, storytelling, resilience. There it is. All right. Mental health. Thank you. STEM and STEM, definitely. Resilience, personal finance, business growth, economics. Look at how talented you all are. Okay, communication and storytelling. Thanks, Terry. Storytelling specifically for leaders and STEM. Greg Wood, leadership communication, including the magic of leadership. There you go. Tonya, thank you. Communication, conflict resolutions. Wow, what a great start. Wow. Okay, with that focus in mind, let's move forward then. So now you have your three categories. There's the list again. So just in case you're thinking, well, is that what yes. Okay, good. Now, taking that forward into the other items in the top 10, we need to have a professional website. So if you currently have a website, and ideally your name or your business name, if you can reserve those, even if you're thinking about it, find one of the domain services and reserve them. You can always release or sell them later, by the way. Create a professional website, or on your current website, if appropriate, because if they don't go together, don't do this, but you could add a tab for speaking, or call it presentations or keynotes or training or whatever that you'd like there. You want to be found. And so we can take our passionate topics and get found and paid and hired for them and referred. Number 3 on the list, this is fellow Toastmaster Yvonne Ortega. Make sure to have an email address with your domain, and that goes into your marketing materials outbound, even though you may have a Gmail account or another type of server or .ca, whatever that might be for you. But your outbound marketing is your name at your website domain. Okay, raise your hand. You getting some ideas? Yeah, we're only on number 3. Okay. Put that on everything that you can. Have an email signature. Here's my buddy Greg Wood. Thank you. Thank you. This is the email block signature for it. So accredited speaker, certified virtual presenter, and here's his, I'm going to say brother. All right. So Michael Bayer also. Thank you. So again, what are you putting at the bottom of your email? Consider developing something like an email signature block. All right. That's number 3. How are we doing? Okay, so far so good. Yep, and here's our colleague, Forrest Tuff, accredited speaker as well. He's been receiving all kinds of amazing awards. This is the signature block. All of this is at the bottom of his email messages going outbound. Amazing. So you can keep it simple, you can keep it elaborate, but then this is what he does, is branding. Number 4. Again, people are looking for the what? The match video clips from a portion of our presentations help the meeting planner get it that we are a match. They're looking for problem solvers. They always also want to see what our energy level is. What is our content of, is this a good message for our people? On my website, feel free to go to SherylRoush.com and look under videos or the meeting planner tab. Then these are posted each with a cover, and I turned off the auto launch. I don't know about you, but I don't like when too many things launch themselves. I like to give people that type of control. So then they can go through and they can see, okay, we're in education. Oh, we have a women's conference coming up. Okay. And then it gives a little bit of information about that particular audience. Make it easy for the meeting planners to hire you. So video clips, number 5, we're going to dive deeper on this one today. Number 5, speaker one sheets. So this is Yvonne's. You just saw her email signature portion, kind of on a business card. And then this is using a template that is provided for you in the workbook today. Her graphic designer followed my template and created this. At the time that I first started working with Yvonne, she was not yet a published author. She is now, only 2 of the books are here. It's now, she's now on like book number 5 or 6, just to give you an idea. So when you can, you want to have a business card that matches, so everything is congruent in your marketing, which means the brand is followed throughout. Business card, website, anything else that you're doing. Even though her graphic designer designed the one sheet, I pulled the images from her website and created this business card. So you just saw the back side. And if you are printing business cards, they're not expensive, by the way. You can get a box of 250 business cards for maybe $50 US. I borrowed the image from the website and put it onto the front of the card. Now it looks like, oh, okay, yes, proceed with that. Item number 6, we had a master class in setting fees and how to charge. So I pulled this page from the workbook so that you can refer to this. I will share with you that I believe setting our fees is the toughest thing for us to do in this entire list of 10. It seems that setting our fees are linked to our self-esteem and our self-worth. We need to start somewhere. If you can, start at 3 numbers behind the dollar sign and set your goal for adding a comma in that fee. The more problems that you solve, the more extensive that your client list gets, the more that word gets out, having a published book, all of these things start adding to what we can charge because it boosts our credibility. So that's number 6. Number 7, have a social media presence. This is some of mine. And again, use your hashtags whenever you can, even when you're posting about yourself, and tag your other pages. Get some loop, get some social media love going, and do the same for your friends. Number 8, have resources. These are some of mine specifically for Toastmasters and National Speakers Association. As we speak and we keep saying yes, And what about if they can't afford our fee? In lieu of fee, could they give us video footage that we need for those video demos? All of this, again, there are so many things that you can add if they can't get to your regular fee and yet still support your walkaway fee. So this is it, and one of mine is chocolate. It is true. You may have seen that in the chat box from last session. Number 9, polished delivery, and find clubs that support advanced feedback for you, which Keystone Speakers does. So at every meeting, they have longer presentations as well as roundtable feedback, and you get to be showcased as well as to practice what we would be doing in the real world. Practice here and take it outside and get paid for it. Number 10, who are your ideal audiences? So as you go back to the list of the current and evergreen topics, you are going to be looking for who's the match for your topics. What we don't want to think is, well, everybody could use this. Not everybody's going to hire you, and not everybody has a fee, and not everybody knows about you. So instead, you're looking for the ideal ones, which will pay whatever that career commitment fee is. Here's some of mine. You might recognize some of the logos. And it's been a privilege to serve these groups and many more. How do I know that I have over 3,500 presentations on site in 14 countries? I kept a log. I hope you're keeping a log. Mine started off in an accountant's ledger booklet where I would write down the date, who was the group, what was my topic, how many people attended, what was my fee, I started off with love offerings and donations. I did. So if you are not yet receiving compensation, think bigger, think bigger, start asking. ASK equals GET. We've heard it here today. So then this is how you develop getting the bigger names and the bigger associations is, again, build up the credibility. All right. So far, so good. That was the top 10. Those were the 10 must-haves. You doing good on that? Then let's talk marketing. Because how do we get those fees that we want? Thanks for asking. This page is not in the handout. After I pull up the information, feel free to capture a screenshot of this. And I believe that, Mon, you are also posting this in the chat box for us. Thank you. There are 3 stages, very specific stages of communication, especially as it relates directly to marketing. We must take these stages in this particular order, or the marketing will not be effective. This information came from the research I did by David Ogilvy in his book, Confessions of an Advertising Man. I have tested this around the globe, and I find this to be proven. Stage 1 is relevance. Let's see, parlez-vous français? We'll take a closer look at that too. Then it answers the WIIFM. What's in it for me? The time available, according to Ogilvy's research, is 1 to 7 seconds. It's that fast. You and I do the same thing. When we're looking at something or opening our post, our mail, or a brochure, we're looking for what's in it for me. And if we cannot find the pertinence, the confirmation, we will recycle it just like that. So now we grab their attention, and I suggest a grabber headline in bold italic font that names their pain or desired outcome and hands it back to them in the form of that question. You'll see a few examples of that. So then they move with us. After we've grabbed their attention, we can do the same thing in speaking, by the way. So stage 2, confirmation. Now the reader is looking for, well, was I correct? Does it relate to me? And we want to support them in saying, yes, keep reading. The time available now is up to 90 seconds. So a minute and a half, they're looking through the additional text that is in that particular piece or online or an email. Bullet points would be ideal for helping people skim quickly through to get to stage 3, which is then going to be action. Or we know it as a call to action in sales as well as speaking, is to give people a challenge. They're looking for, well, what do I do now? We need to tell them what to do. Information overload. Keep it very succinct, simple, straightforward. Time available here is as long as needed. Feel free to capture a screenshot. So the time available is now as long as needed because there's basically 3 reading groups that we have determined, according to the American Library Association, that there's the non-readers, which English may be their non-native language, that maybe it's their second, third, or fourth language. That percentage, according to that research, is 10 to 15%. The next percentage matches the 10 to 15%, but they're avid readers. You might be one of these. You read everything. You read everything you can in your incredible grammar proofread checkers. There's a gift for that. And then there's the skimmers. 70 to 80% of us are looking for the bullet points, simple text, nice photos, progressive layouts. We need to, as designers of marketing communication, incorporate all 3 of these stages and in this order. We'll be looking at some examples of that. 3 stages. So how does this relate to you when you're creating your marketing? On page 3, inside of the workbook or the handout, I encourage you to use this one presentation worksheet for every presentation that you are currently giving or new ones that you are thinking about delivering that people will pay you for. So as an example of this, what's the main topic in which you are knowledgeable or experienced as a subject matter expert? That's SME, by the way. All right, so then it kind of get some ideas up there. Then if you have a title for that presentation, you would put that onto this worksheet. And if you are not currently using a subtitle, please consider doing so. The number 1 subtitle, according to Meeting Professionals International, is anything that begins with how to. And here's why. How to implies immediate relevance, stage 1, that people will know that they can do it. And that's what we all want today is some hope. So today this is hope and how to is delivered on a very structured format. And I hope that you take action on this from everything that you're learning from Speaker School. So now from that presentation, then what are the audience pains that you can solve with your particular presentation? Again, only do one of these presentation worksheets at a time. Maybe you're having coffee one morning and you focus only on one topic. The next morning, cleared head, focus on the second topic. Only one at a time so they don't get muddy, and then take it through the entire process here. The third area then, what are the benefits, the takeaways, ROI, return on investment, to the audience, to the attendees as a result of attending your session? So there you're almost speaking to the meeting planner as well as the participant in your program. Often marketing goes to both of those at the same time. Then who are your ideal audiences for that particular presentation? Name them. Create an avatar. If it is women 45 to 60, whatever that it is, as specific as you can. Here's the gold mine of how marketing works, is the more specific that we can be and that the languaging is specific to that particular ideal audience, it becomes a solid match quicker. Then we're at the top of the stack of potential speakers for that particular presentation and not shuffled amongst everything else. The more specific, the more successful that we will be with that. What type of formats are available for that particular presentation? I started off as a trainer. So at the time that I earned my accredited speaker in Toronto at the International Convention in 1993, I'm the most senior current female accredited speaker that we have. And so I've been around a while, I guess you could say. So then at that time, I was more of a trainer and did a little bit of keynoting, but had not, well, I don't know, I hadn't been paid a lot for my keynotes. So I brought my training skills into my keynoting skills because I'm known for delivering high content, yet in a motivational and lighthearted manner. My tip here is that we need to take our preparation seriously so that we can take our delivery lightly. And we have many dynamic speakers in our speaker school today. That's what you do. So that helps get us focused. And what's the match? When we talk about putting this into print, then, which print could also be electronic, and you'll see a couple of electronic press kits in this segment too. And I thank my colleagues for allowing me to showcase their materials. There are different types of one sheet. So let me give you a little definition. When we first started in the speaking industry about our marketing materials, they were big catalogs. They were multi-page catalogs. Zig Ziglar, Earl Nightingale, the voice of the airways, who became one of our Golden Gavel Award recipients. Actually, both of those have. So we started as full color, big printed catalogs. Then the meeting planners were saying, we have a big stack of these. Can you trim that down into one sheet? Or just give us one page. And that's how they got their name. One sheet, front and back, or one page, as in perhaps even just one side of one page. All right, so here's what our current definitions are to give you some examples. This again is our colleague accredited speaker, Forrest Tuff. This I would call a bio sheet. So a bio sheet is information about you, not necessarily about the topic. If you look underneath his brand headline, then it says what the topics are. Those are the categories. Those are the categories on a bio sheet. All right. Here's Freddie Doctrum out of Lethbridge, Alberta. This is a basic bio sheet. Now, don't close your eyes because I'm going to do some slideshow right here. This is a basic bio sheet. This is her keynote topic one sheet. So now it is specific to one topic title. See where we're going with this? The general one sheet may have several different topics listed on it with a little bit of description and biography. This one is specific to that particular topic. Here's a bio sheet for her workshops. Again, so a bio sheet. Here's a seminar topic one sheet specific to discover your true colors. Again, different types of one sheets. Here's one of my own general one sheets, and we'll include later at the end of my presentation where you can locate one of these. All right, so here's my basic general one sheet. It has 5 topics with a short sentence or a teaser description, and then in italics, what are the benefits, right? With an action photo. Always have good photos, by the way. And here's the flip side of that particular printed one sheet. Now, often here I'm asked, what do you do with a one sheet? You include them in your marketing materials, as Brian Lee did in his workbook pages today. He had a one page right following the title page. This is what I would do with my one sheets. Or in on-site presentations, place one on each attendee chair with the handout, but put the handout first and then the one sheet so it doesn't seem like hard sell. And on your LinkedIn profile, put it in the featured section. Then you can change it real easily, We'll break it down and we'll take a look at what these look like. Here's the backside of an audience specific one sheet. All right, now I'm getting very targeted. So for instance, Greg Wood, and thank you very much, that he keeps the same basic template of his one sheet, which you'll see in a few minutes, that then he just changes the text for that particular audience or meeting planner he is addressing in order to help him get hired. Brilliant. All right, so a testimonial from the industry, boom, right at the top. So is this a stage 1, 2, or 3 item? Stage 2, it's confirmation. It's a form of proof. The next area, industry relevant clients. Aha, looking for the match. Notice that these are chunked into audience types or associations or businesses, facilities management, financial, government, hospitality and travel. and then alphabetical within those. When we first get started, then they're not so much clients, but you could, in your marketing materials, call them audiences include. Write that one down. Audiences include. Now you have integrity, even though they were not clients who paid. There you go. All right, so industry relevant. And then showing the virtual background, because I tweaked this one sheet back in 2020 when we all became virtual. Well, let's see, I'd been doing virtual since 2010, but in 2020, I needed to update my own materials, including the website, and change the text there to let people know I was available for virtual presentations. All right, so you're getting some ideas. This is one of our accredited speakers, certified speaking professional colleagues, Kevin Snyder. And this is his media packet that you can download from his website, kevinsnyder.com. And I'll show you one of the other, these are two more pages from inside his electronic catalog. Basically, that's what it is. So now we can be very simple, and we can also, as we develop more of our materials, again with focus, then we can create larger packets. All right. So now, how do we design these? All right. Now we understand the definitions. We see where we're going. This is number 5 on the list of 10. How do we design those sheets to get us hired? Keep in mind those 3 stages. What are they? Relevance, confirmation, and action. Yes, there are 7 significant elements that decision makers need from us to determine that we are a match. How are we a match that we can help them solve their problems? So number 1, the problems you can solve. Wait until I queue up all 7. You're welcome to capture a screenshot of this. So problems we can solve. Number 2, the solutions. Number 3, our expertise or credentials as a subject matter expert. Number 4, proof. So testimonials, endorsements, the listing of similar clients. Number 5, the website. Where can they find more information? Number 6, our contact information. And number 7, current photos of you. Go ahead and capture a snap. There you go. Now, how do those get placed into a layout to be effective, to grab their attention, bring us through the text and the call to action that they reach out to us? Thanks for asking. All right, the next 2 pages inside of your workbook are these models, if you will. They are sampled layouts. How to use this is as what gets placed where, but do not include the lines or boxes around the text box images. Those are to give you an idea of the layout and the placement. Do not box text. You may put a frame around your photo, but boxing things in traps the reader's eye and actually goes against the grain, and people become irritated. Kind of interesting with that. All right, so let's take a look at now, where do these 7 items go? Well, starting with number 1, the headline. So the problems that you can solve. A few ideas here could be that it's a question. Again, what's the pain? What's the pain? Why should they hire you? It could be a quotation. Quote yourself, by the way, instead of somebody else. A testimonial, something that someone has said that you use with their permission in the headline. It could be a fact or a statistic. 2 out of 3 recommend something. So that's number 1. Number 2, then, the solutions that you provide are within your presentations. That's why the short statement and the bullet point benefits, offering what's in it for them. Number 3, then, is your expertise. That goes under your photo typically, or it may even be the next page. When we're starting, though, as Toastmasters turning pro, just start with 1 page. It could be this specific layout that you follow. Just start very simple. Whatever you're designing in, whether it be Word, let's see, Darren LaCroix, when he sent me one of his one sheets, it was designed in PowerPoint. Today, I believe that he's using Pages, but to give you an idea, whatever software program or publisher, MS Publisher, then there's preloaded templates that you can use and modify it. Notice that it's a thin column on one side and wider on the other. The technical term for this is called the Scholar's Margin Grid. It is a progressive layout as opposed to two equal columns. So this is progressive. It captures people's attention. All right, so number 3 is your expertise, your credentials, and I've given you some ideas there. Number 5 is going to be the website. Number 6 is your contact information. And number 7, your photo. Yeah, it could be a portrait photo, could be an action photo. If in your photo you are facing a particular direction, ensure that your face and or eyes are pointing back into the text on the layout. That's called implied motion. All right, so if you're just getting started, this is a great layout for you to follow. Yep, there you go. All right, now as you progress in your career and you are adding more items to your list, you may want to add the second page, which, let's take a look at the numbering system there. So number 4 is going to be proof with your partial client list. Yours could say audiences include, for that particular text, some type of alphabetical order, and I've actually used some from Winnipeg and Manitoba. Always tailor your presentation. So testimonials are also a form of proof. There you go. Again, your website, your contact information, and here this could be an action photo of you, maybe not necessarily using a microphone, but that you're an action photo of you as if you are speaking to an audience. Meeting planners love to see that. They want to imagine what it would be like to have you in front of their audience. Our job is to make them look good and deliver what we say we're going to, and to beg for more. That's how you can build more into the consulting, back-end contracts, and sell books and everything else. So let me share with you a short story of a success story. This is Lenora Billings Harris. When she heard me speak at the National Speakers Association years ago, then she realized that, oh my gosh, I need to work with you. And she was an absolute joy to do so. So this is her before photo. So if we were talking about pricing, right? In I learned we're not supposed to like name our figures. So we were taught to talk in fruit. So this would be, if you're looking at this particular type of one, she was paid bananas. Well, here's what I did with her branding. So now bananas go aside. We're adding commas. We're adding apples and oranges. And she is now one of the foremost DEI presenters globally. So she went from a small comma to a $20,000 engagement fee. So if you're asking does image really matter? Yes, it does. She went on to become the first African-American president of the International Federation of Professional Speakers, Global Speaker Federation. I may have those two confused, but also from National Speakers Association. So how this came about was I always study who I'm going to be working with, whether it's coaching, consulting, or speaking. Do your homework. On only one place in her entire website, it had the phrase, the marble lady. And I said, Lenore, tell me about that. She just starts laughing. And she says, oh, that's nothing. No, tell me, what does that mean? Well, because I speak on diversity and multicultural diversity and inclusion, no two marbles are alike. I go, you're sitting on your brand. I said, okay, let's get a photo shoot for you. And I said, here are the colors that I'm a former professional photographer. Here's the colors that I'd like to see you. Take different things, put some music on in the background in the photo studio that you can move to, and just let it go. And this was the photo. She goes, oh my gosh, you're choosing the purple one? Yes, it is most authentic to her. So here's the before on the left and the after on the right. And she went on, when she was president of the National Speakers Association, she asked me if she could use the brand with the marble. And it's you, it's you, it's yours. Of course you can. And she created substance and significance, I believe was the theme for her presidential year, based on the design of the marble with the yin and the yang. Absolutely beautiful. So it might be time, depending on where you are in your career commitment level, to upgrade your marketing materials. When you're starting, you're going to be at level 1. start working with the 10 must-haves, level 1, level 2, level 3, and really start getting serious at level 4 and higher. We did invite members to submit their samples for this particular presentation. And Laverne, thank you for saying yes. This is the original Word document that she had sent me. And nothing really wrong with it. However, now that we've learned the 3 stages and what goes where and why, we could improve it, right, Laverne? Okay. All right. So she has things kind of, I would call this a topic 1 sheet, because it's about the pumpkin patch. And down at the bottom, you'll see that's her with a very huge pumpkin. And I really looked at this and I thought, okay, so the basic elements are here. Usually when I look and I review people's materials, the elements are there, just not placed in the ideal areas. So without closing your eyes, here's what I did with it. I took the questions that were lower in her text and created that to be the pain point question grabber in the headline stage 1. Then she has a teaser to learn to plant the seed of inspiration. So a teaser, then it guides a reader right into stage 2 of what is that? Presentation title, Life Lessons from the Pumpkin Patch. And she has a how-to. She did that, I didn't. How to harvest the power of positive thinking in project management. Aha. Then I changed because she had, let me go back here a second, she had minus signs here, dashes, but the I interprets it as a minus sign. I changed those to tick marks. All right, then again, I didn't add any text. I used what she had. And then about the 60-minute keynote, she's dynamic. I enlarged the photo and cropped it. I also did that with her picky. So let me show you what that looks like. All right. Just moving things around. This is in that Scholar's Margin grid, the template that I just showed you for the front or one side of a 1 sheet. So Laverne, what do you think? Unmute and let me know if you have any questions on this. What questions might you have, Laverne? Let's spotlight her.
I love what you've done with it and reorganized it, actually. I'm just like at the level 1, right? And I don't have like a web page or anything like that. So I'm just working with my basics of what I do have or how people could get a hold of me. So I know there's definitely places to improve, but yes, I like what you've done with it.
I will send this to you, by the way, the Word doc as well as the PDF. There is one sentence I added as I went to your LinkedIn to learn more about you. I added in here a past district director in Toastmasters International. I added that because for here, it will give you credibility. Okay? So there you go. Good. All right. I'll follow back with you on this. Okay, great. So then here's another member of Keystone Speakers, one of our Aussies. And by the way, I asked her for her current sample of her Speaker 1 sheet, and she used this because in Keystone Speakers, guest speakers are brought in like me to provide high content input for the members, one of the great benefits here of being a member. And she responded from India. She was going to the Taj Mahal. So Maria, thank you, and use with her permission. So hers is a 1 topic. This is A4 size of paper. So if you're looking that it's longer, yes, it is for Australia. Then we also have on the line is Greg Wood, all right, accredited speaker. And he used the format for his 1 sheet. Again, the same template that you're seeing. And here's the flip side as well. So then he's using the same template as he shared with me in an email response, and then he just tweaks it for whomever that he is getting ready to solicit, to promote, to introduce himself. As Brian had said that we can download his electronic press kit, and before he said that, I researched him. So I went to his website to see what he has posted, and there are 4 of these 4-page documents that are topic specific documents. So you may want to check those out. Mon, thanks for keeping up with me there in the chat box. Another member of Keystone Speakers is Dale, and she provided her entire electronic press kit. I'll show you this very first page, but with the note of, because she also acknowledges it, she is getting ready to update all of it. This is the beautiful thing about when we're designing materials, and the better that we get, our materials need to keep up with us. So it's not so much that we design for where we are, design for where you're going. Where are you headed? And design to that level of career commitment and the fee structure. There you go. All right, here's one of mine. You're welcome to download it. So if you went to, there you go. Kathy, I have a QR code. All right, then you can go to SherylRoush.com in the blog section, and you can look up the electronic press kit. It is 19 pages long. It has, that's why it's electronic and not printed. It has 2 different one sheets, plus it has articles that I've written that were published in the National Speaker magazines and other associations. So what happens when meeting planners can't get to your walkaway price? One of the ideas is to be published in their magazine. So there you go. This is loaded. Lots of tips, including tips for speakers. So you may want to. This is one of the one sheets specific for Toastmaster districts that invite me to present. All done in Toastmaster branding with the images down the left. That is scholar margin type of layout. All of the branding, the colors, the images, all of that. This is 2-sided, and on the reverse side, it has more of my biography specific to Toastmasters. You can use the same idea when you are working to service organizations that you want to speak to them. And then what other types of service organizations have you presented to? So here's an example too of the photo looking into the text. Again, implied motion. Make sure that you are looking at the text and bringing the reader back in. It also emphasizes the 3 stages. Asking the question in bold italics at the headline, that's a stage 1. Stage 2 are the topic write-ups and information. Also under the credibility underneath the photograph there, the picky. And then a little bit of teaser, and there's more teaser for the call to action on the flip side. We will have time for a few questions coming up, by the way, to our hosts on that. So from this session, we've discovered the 10 must-haves in the speaking business. What do we need to do? We understand, and now we can use that page as a checklist to see exactly how we're doing. You now have greater focus on your main topic areas and a worksheet to help craft the marketing from those presentations. And you know what elements are placed where inside of the layout and why. So with that, I encourage you to be passionate and to get hired in anything that we do. Bring people a sense of hope, bring them how-tos. What do they need to be, do, have, or do differently? Because we are messengers of hope, and we bring our skills to help serve the world.